The Soviet Union itself is no more.
The United States military has begun strikes.
Light them all up.
Считаю, что для современного мира однополярная модель не только неприемлема, но и вообще невозможна.
Народные республики Донбасса обратились к России с просьбой о помощи. Мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
Russian military is taking chips from dishwashers and refrigerators to fix their military hardware. Russia's industry is in tatters.
Putin is now isolated from the world more than he has ever been.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of DD Geopolitics.
Greetings, everyone.
I'm your host, Chris and Sarah.
Nice to see you.
We are entering week 3 of this battle of World War III, the big one. And we will be covering everything that we can. But first, Chris, do you have anything you want to tell the viewers?
I just want to say Iran's winning. I don't care what anybody says. Iran's winning. Resistance is winning. And you're about to see global markets this week. Get ready. Buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be a roller coaster. And I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot of cold sweats and tears in the Trump administration. Maybe not in Tel Aviv, but in Washington, you better believe it.
Yeah, this week's going to be another very pivotal week. I think that the Americans will probably be starting to really feel the squeeze this week and the week after. But before we get into all of that, like I told you guys last week, we got a new editor-in-chief at our Substack. and we will be putting forth a lot more effort in the writing field for nerds like us that like to read. So I'd like to formally introduce you guys to our new editor-in-chief, Kayla.
Hi, I am so honored to be with you guys. Amazing work.
We're so happy to finally have you. I've known you for like 3-4 years. Been like, I really want her on board, but you've always been so busy with your investigative work inside of America. So why don't you tell our viewers kind of a little bit of your background and then what you want to bring to the Substack moving forward, or to DDG
Yeah. Okay, awesome. My background is in citizen journalism, investigative journalism. I've been at the front lines of the movement for the last 10 years and really diving into the multimedia world and how to tell stories that impact people, right? And so that's kind of been my niche. And I've been all around, in 2024, that's when Sarah and I really connected, and I was doing a lot of work on the border as the lead investigative journalist for James O'Keefe. Love him or hate him, it was a job, and we were doing important work there. And we highlighted the border crisis, and that film made it to the Tucker Carlson Network, which I'm very proud of. I think that we did a really great job in doing objective reporting and doing a full scope of the border crisis. You know, whether it was our federal whistleblower border patrol agents that I worked very closely with, or the migrants themselves and their struggles, and highlighting the 300,000 children that went missing. So that was a lot of my work in 2024. 2025, I went independent, and I've just been kind of wearing a bunch of different hats, going over here and there, and now I'm over here, and I couldn't be more pleased to be here. Yeah.
Amazing. So, welcome. And I'm sure all of our subscribers are really looking forward to. We have a really great writing team already, and we wanted to share one of their articles with you. This is Ghosts in the Terrain. So, Kayla, people know who Ibrahim is on X, Ibrahim Majded, and he is our correspondent in Southern Lebanon. So why don't you talk a little bit about what you'll be doing with his reporting?
Yeah, so last week he was doing some really great updates. And what I did is I went in and I took quite a few of his posts and kind of beefed it up a little bit and gave some historical context. So I started with this quote where he said, Israeli media is reporting Hezbollah ghosts are back at the northern borders in southern Lebanon. Fighters are emerging from hidden positions, striking with precision and creating a severe operational crisis for the Israeli army. Conventional forces are struggling to respond to this underground, highly coordinated network, showing how Hezbollah can turn the terrain itself into lens, right, of the war in Vietnam. The Vietnamese were able to utilize the terrain in such a way that, I mean, it was almost impossible for the American troops to keep up. And we're seeing a lot of that right now. So the shift, one of the key points that we were making in this article is this shift to the decentralized guerrilla tactics are incredibly historically significant. And it mirrors the work that Hezbollah was doing in 2006, which really bogged down the Israeli ground ops. And it's to pose the question, does Israel have a playbook for this type of on the ground operation here? So Iran is currently claiming that there's 6 months of war readiness as a strategic signal. And it's just, we're kind of taking this look of like, what does that mean for the US and Israel? So we also highlighted the fact that the IRGC transmitted mass text directly to Israeli citizens. That's fascinating. And they essentially were saying, that it was reported by International Business Times at the UK, where they sent a chilling alert stating that the US radar system in the region had been destroyed and that Israeli government was deceiving its own people. No shelter could guarantee their safety from incoming missiles. Fascinating stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes. We're happy to have Ibrahim. He's amazing.
And we also have this from our Slovenian writer. So guys, it's not just Middle East, it's the West, it's the EU, and I just added an African writer. So that will be we'll be working on her article this week, but here is the new one from Gregor, the bomb in the basement.
Yeah,
to the Israeli nuclear program.
Yeah, this was essentially a deep dive investigative piece looking at Israel's nuclear program, which is really important for us to be paying attention to. Talking about how it was an American proxy project and traces the Jericho missile program from French-assisted origins in the 1960s to the current day Jericho ICBM. And it kind of ties in the Epstein blackmail network and the suppression of nuclear whistleblowers. And it also talks about some of the classified US intel that was leaked in late February 2026, describing Israeli strikes against Iran. And, you know, it was going into the Iranian missile strike near Jerusalem, who killed 9 Israelis near the Jericho missile base. So, I mean, key talking points from this is the nuclear ambiguity. I can't say that word. Ambiguity. Ambiguity. Thank you. So it's like they don't confirm and they don't deny it. And it's like, well, what's going on? You know, like, can we get the real here? And so it really highlights the Samson option and the doctrine there, and that Israel, if it's backed into the corner, will absolutely use nuclear weapons in an existential scenario. So really important reporting right there. Bombs in the basement. Great writing. We're really appreciative of that writer as well.
Yeah, Gregor's amazing. He has lots of wonderful connections over in the EU. So if we want to encourage more people to get involved, how would you like to, what would you like to see from sort of our audience? What kind of contributions, or what are you looking for if more people want to get involved and sort of get there? Because our Substack is being really utilized for people telling certain news stories with historical context from their angle, which we really love. So we want more voices to sort of get involved. And how would you like to put that out?
Yeah, well, I just want to say one of my favorite things of the world is empowering people to tell their stories, right? And that's really what we did with the film Line in the Sand. I worked directly with citizens all across the southern border, and that's how we made that film, right? Was through people telling their stories of what was happening in their own backyards. And so if there are issues that are close to your guys' heart, things that are impacting you, I will hold your hand and help you through that process of identifying what the story is, what the most important talking parts are, you know, what assets do we need? Do we need pictures? Do you have video? I mean, there's nothing like original video footage. So, and they can send it. We have a Proton Mail account. We can send it there for now.
Yeah, ddgeopolitics@proton.me. If you guys have any submissions, for instance, I mean, this week, Kayla and I are going to be working on a deep dive into the takeover of Florida, the United States, and we're working on an article about Kenya. So we're going full range. Anything you guys want to talk about, we will get it to Kayla. We'll get you guys hooked up. Anything else you want to tell her? We're so happy that you're here, Kayla. But anything else?
Yes, we are very happy.
Well, I'm just so happy to be here, and I can't wait to empower your guys' audience to tell the stories that matter. So I'm here for it.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll probably see you tonight somewhere.
I will. Yeah, I'll see. I got stories for you later.
Sure.
See you guys, and so good to see you, Chris.
So good to see you too. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Substack guys, get involved.
All
also,
right.
I'm uploading the book club there. So if you guys have missed it and you don't X, go over to Substack. It's all free.
Are you still on From Yahweh to Zion?
Chapter 7. If my Spaces co-host whatever catch up, I'm done the book. I'm almost done the next book. These people.
They take some time.
I'm
It's okay.
covering a world war. I'm reading books. I'm doing book clubs. I'm doing streams. Where's everybody at? Anyway, where's everybody at? Where in the world is Benjamin and Yahoo? I'm also working on my habit to stop calling him BB. So guys, if you catch me, say stop, because it's like a term of endearment and I can't call him that anymore. But anyway, Benjamin, I almost did it again. Benjamin and Yahoo released this video today.
מה שאלת אותי? ראש הממשלה אומרים ברשת שאתה בכלל מת? אני מת על קפה, אתה יודע מה? אני מת על העם שלי. איך הם מתנהגים, פנטסטי. אתה רוצה לספור את מספר אצבעות?
אתה יכול להראות לנו?
פה. פה. ראית?
יפה מאוד.
לחיים.
אתה חושב של המסר לאנשים שיוצאים ומתאווררים?
לצאת להתאוורר, אבל ליד מרחב מוגן. והעמידה שלכם היא מדהימה, נותנת...
I think that's enough.
That's enough of that language.
But this comes out after obviously the 6-finger video or the teeth video. I'm not really giving this stuff much thought, and I'm just going to tell you that you shouldn't either. A lot of it I feel like is Israeli psyops or just camera tricks or editing in the background, and they're like they want you to sit there and talk about whether Benjamin Netanyahu is alive or not. And get down this rabbit hole. I've seen people having whole spaces about it, hours and hours of conversation, analyzing the thing, putting it through AI, guys. And I just wanted to ask your opinion because yesterday I took a screenshot of it was a tweet of Anna Kasparian, and they weren't being vehement about it, but they were kind of saying we want him to die. And I was like, no, this is leftist brain. I don't want him to die. And I wanted to ask your opinion. People have been kind of like, explain your reasoning. And I'll just tell you that my reasoning is I want to see him suffer, but in my own sick way. So that's number one, I want to watch. Number two, you want to give Donald Trump and the Israeli government an off-ramp. You want to give them the ability to say, we were just following orders of a madman. And now he's gone. And you know what? That might be acceptable to a lot of people. I try to think of it in a way like, where are we at right now with our thinking? Because then I also said, okay, there's two scenarios. He's offed in the leadership. We get somebody who's worse than Bibi, which it will take Americans at least a good 6 months to realize that he's worse than Bibi, and by then it'll be too late. Or he's not as bad as Bibi. I'm doing it again, Benjamin Netanyahu. And people say, look, see, Israel can play nice. Look, they can play, and they can't. They can't. I don't want to give these people an off-ramp. What do you think? Maybe I'm being too, I don't know.
Listen, I want him to be old in a wheelchair and to see Iran strong, proud, and even more advanced, and to sit there with cold sweats and to think to himself that he was a fucking failure. That he was not able to destroy our beautiful country, our strong country, our civilization with that bullshit civilization that they say, quote unquote, that they invented in 1948 by stealing Palestinian land. Please, I want him to suffer. I like that. I want him to be emotionally tormented by the power of Iran. I want him when he hears Persian to start crying. I want him when he hears terms that are related to Iran to start weeping. And I want him to have nightmares about Iranians' missile capabilities. That's what I want. Listen, whether he lives or dies, it doesn't change the fact that the Epstein coalition will continue. It won't. They will still keep going. But I want them all to realize that Iran will not be defeated. Iran is here to stay, and they can try. They can bomb us all day and all night. We'll still be there. We are the ghosts. That's what they're so afraid of. You hear on the radio these Zionist soldiers screaming and yelling, and yes, we are the ghosts. Good luck. You've come after the nation of Imam Hussein. There were only 70 or so family members around at that time. Now you have 90 million plus 20 million plus 30 million plus 50 million. Trust me, there are plenty of people who are ready. So I just want people to understand that. I want people to understand that, look, Iran is here to stay. The strait is going to remain closed. And I'm sure Trump is sweating. For sure he is. For sure he is. He smells like a fryolator because of all the fast food that he eats. But he's certainly sweating. No doubt about it.
Well, we'll have a palate cleanser. So from one cowardly leader to the polar opposite. Here is Arakshi on Al-Quds Day.
آقای وزیر امور خارجه درباره این چه فکر می‌کنید؟
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. امروز خب روز قدس هست در ایران و علیرغم حملات وحشیانه‌ای که رژیم صهیونیستی و آمریکا همین امروز در همین ماجرا انجام دادن، ولی ما با سیل میلیونی جمعیت مواجه هستیم، نه در تهران فقط، در همه شهرها، و این نشون دهنده عزم و اراده محکم ایرانیان هست در حمایت از جمهوری اسلامی، در حمایت از موضوع قدس، در حمایت از فلسطین و در حمایت از همه آرمان‌هایی که ما در این سالها داشتیم و ما رو تا اینجا رسونده و انشالله با همین قوت و قدرت ادامه خواهیم داد و ما دشمنان خودمون رو مجبور خواهیم کرد که اعتراف بکنن به قدرت مردم ایران.
آقای عراقچی قیمت نفت خیلی زیاد شد. به نظر شما چی میشه؟ در آینده هم زیادتر میشه قیمت نفت؟
آنچه که هست قیمت‌های نفت به هر حال الان رو به افزایش هست. این نتیجه عملکرد آمریکا و اسرائیل در منطقه هست و اونها هستن که این مصیبت رو برای منطقه ایجاد کردن و باید پاسخگو باشن.
تشکر می‌کنم.
She's having he's on a generational run. I think that the producer's calling him Dark Arachi now because he's on his not his villain, it's his dark hero character arc. He's on his dark hero character arc. It's very
that
very
man has a PhD, just so you know. That man has a PhD, and he didn't get any handouts from his parents to get into a PhD program. Imagine Trump, who had to use his parents' handouts to get into an Ivy League school, and he only finished, UPenn, Wharton Business School, and he's like, oh, I'm some intellectual. Please give me a break. That's an intellectual. That's a scholar. That's him. Like Larijani, all of those guys.
Oh,
they're all. I know. I'm telling you.
Oh, great. So, where do you want to go first? Do you want to go to the Lincoln? Let's go to the Lincoln first.
Let's go to Lincoln.
Okay. Who is this badass? Where is he? Okay.
پای پاسداران انقلاب اسلامی قرار گرفت و تا به حال غیر عملیاتی گشته و به سمت مبدأ اولیه خود حرکت کرد. دشمنی که مرگ سربازانش را ضربه خفیف مغزی اعلام می کند باید هم استیصال در ناو جرالدفورد و آتش سوزی در آن و بر جای گذاشتن مجروح در طی خود درگیری را نادیده بگیرد و اکنون با همین توجیه انهدام سوخرسانش تحت عنوان نقص فنی عنوان می شود. تعداد نقص فنی، ضربات مغزی خفیف و خوددرگیری هایتان مدتی بیش از پیش شده است. در هر نقطه‌ای از منطقه، به ویژه در مناطق اسکانتان، مناطق صنعتی و پناهگاه‌های زیرزمینی که باشید، زیر آتش و آوار دفن خواهید شد و من نصر الا من عند الله العزیز الحکیم.
Okay, so the ships. Let's talk about what we do know. So I would just I'm going with all of my context clues. I don't know that I have a visual of it, but we did post back on the 6th. That was the first time the Iranians said that they had targeted the Lincoln. Then it was also reported the Lincoln had to move back. Today we have proof that the Lincoln did exit the theater. They went down to at least the Gulf around Oman. They had an Osprey at least land on board and somewhere in Saudi. And then we have some other proof over on the left from the Chinese satellites, seeing that it did move. And now you see the Ford transiting further south in the Red Sea towards Ansar Allah territory.
Perfect. Both of them are within Ansar Allah range.
Right. So we have the Lincoln exiting the theater with an issue. Also, I wanted to keep in mind the messaging coming out of the United States is horrific.
Horrific.
Lying. And the fact that they're putting together lies that don't even make sense. They contradict themselves. So we get a story out of CENTCOM stating that they were targeted. And then they engaged with Iranian small boats with Hellfire missiles and deck guns and missed completely. Number one, why would you tell that story, firing off Hellfire missiles and missing? And number two, all you did was just give credibility to what the Iranians said. You just admitted you exchanged fire. And now that Lincoln is exiting the theater, what are we supposed to think here?
And wasn't there another story that the laundry room had caught fire? That
Yes.
two were, yes. So I'm like, wait, what is happening here? The laundry room catches fire. This one is they're shooting at an Iranian boat. They don't even sink it. Nobody knows about the boat or the sailors or what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, one thing is certain. Trump is a showman and Trump is all about image. He needs to maintain the image. And if shit like this is going on, he's going to try whatever way to whitewash it or to kind of clean it up before it goes out there, because it's really going to harm his reputation. Imagine being the first president since World War II to have an aircraft carrier, targeted and successfully hit. I don't care if it's with a one bullet. That's a huge deal. That's a huge deal. So I think that they're doing damage control, but they don't realize that they're losing the narrative and they're losing the information war, and the truth is coming out. And now it's even getting worse for him because, you know, as you lie and you lie and you lie, you bury yourself under those lies. People are starting to figure this out.
It's really, really bad. It's really, really bad. So that's what we know about the Lincoln. Unlike you guys mentioned in the comments, the Ford, it did catch on fire, and Chris mentioned in the laundry room, but it is still transiting down the Red Sea towards Bab el-Mandeb. My thinking is now, as a prior sailor, the Ford is on an extended deployment. The Ford is the one that's supposed to go home, not the Lincoln. Now we see the Ford coming around to take the Lincoln's position. The Lincoln's coming out of its AOR, and now the Bush is coming in, and it might have to cover where the Ford was supposed to cover, or go relieve the Ford and another carrier strike. Why is the Lincoln exiting its AOR? That is its deployment AOR. The Ford is there on a favor. So
it could have a hole in the side of it. We don't know. It could be severely damaged. We don't know.
So that's that. And I did also post a video. I don't have it uploaded. It's a little bit long, but a journalist did get to go into the strait on a small speedboat, and there are ships everywhere on fire as Trump just tells them to go through the strait. Have courage and go through the strait.
Sure.
We'll
Come
get into
on.
a little bit more of the Strait of Hormuz in a second. But first, let's talk about this KC-135 debacle. These tankers, we reported on the moves of the tankers when they were going over there and talking about what a massive evolution that was. How many tankers were going over there? It was insane. Larger than the shock and awe on Iraq. So what do we know about the two F-135s? Okay, so you guys know F-135s were our tankers. There were gas stations in the air. We get a message from the Iraqi resistance, their channels, not them personally. Their channels reveal, we think that we hit something around the border. Looks like a plane, yada, yada, yada. We wait, and then a message comes out from CENTCOM, and it says, two KC-135s were involved in an incident. So you're thinking, okay, 2 in 1 incident. One landed safely at Ben Gurion. They acknowledged the loss of the other one. Then they say this was not due to friendly fire or hostile fire. So you're like, so did they collide? Okay, let's go off that. If you have fuel tankers close enough to one another to collide, that is gross incompetence. You need to ground all of your aircraft right now. Do you know how dangerous it is to have one flying gas station and another flying gas station collide?
Oh, it's insane. First of all, those planes are not supposed to go near each other at all.
Because they're refuelers. They get a huge radius of safety.
Yeah, of course.
So that's gross incompetence number one. But okay. So then they tell us, oh, they were involved in the same incident. So there's the one that landed, obviously, at Ben Gurion. That thing is hooked. But so we go and we check the flight path of the one that landed at Ben Gurion. That one never went near Iraq at all.
Correct.
So we're getting terrible stories that were like literally like just poking holes in from CENTCOM and the American media, and from Iran and the Iraqi resistance. They're corroborating stories that they're just downing assets all over the place, right? So here are some of the dead. They're the 6 people that died in the KC-135 incident that the United States will not admit what happened. So their families are just left to figure it out. The one in the top left already has a GoFundMe open for him. Don't worry, guys. While they're opening GoFundMes to survive, which again, they get $500,000 from the military, but whatever. Then when they're opening GoFundMes to survive the loss of their loved ones, Trump was auctioning off Hermes bags at Mar-a-Lago this weekend worth 40 grand a piece. Just so you know. So anyway, they did admit that we lost another 5 refueling planes. This is getting to be a huge debacle. This is in addition to the 2 that they've just admitted to, that we already know they lied about. So here's another 5. It's lost in a strike in Saudi. Then last night I see, here they go. 19 go up in the air. Why? Because they're getting hit again.
Yep.
Getting hit again. They don't even know what to do with these things. They can't even protect them, so they're just flying them. And then you can see on the left right here is another med evacuation flight that they didn't say anything about coming out of Jordan. absolute chaos. So that's I guess that's it for the stories with the aircraft losses for the week. It's complete mayhem out there, and nobody besides apparently the Iranians. I'm getting better intel from the Iranian resistance than I am from CENTCOM. And then you
there's a few things to remember here, and I think that this is something to remember. When Trump came into office, there were radical changes to the journalism and the Department of Defense, or Department of War, as we can say right now. So Trump changed, number one, how information was being given out, reporting various statistics, reporting, for example, kills and strikes. That also happened in the first Trump administration, but now it's even worse. And we've had, for example, complete blackouts in terms of some information that usually would get out. This is the kind of information that brought down presidencies and brought down military campaigns, but they are concealing it from the American people because they don't want to show the amount of destruction that's taking place on American assets and attacks on American personnel that are happening. It's just a reality.
And amidst that whole KC-135 debacle, this is another reason why I was like, light bulb. CBS correspondent is the one who posted that the plane went down and killed everybody, and kind of insinuated it was shot down. And then she said it was two separate incidents. She was forced to delete that tweet. You guys remember Ellison's own CBS with Barry Weiss. She was forced to delete that tweet, and her correction was literally verbatim from CENTCOM.
Yep, exactly.
And here's your FCC threat. Hoaxes and news distortions. The fake news have a chance now to correct course before their license renewals come up. They're going to start revoking people's license if they don't toe the regime line.
Hey, so much for the free press, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go give Iran freedom of the press, and we're going to deny it to Americans.
AI me into that North Korean broadcast. Right? I feel like it's insane. It's insane.
Oh,
they're like, you want to become China? Because we have to do this unless you want to become China. That's like the literal like MAGA thinking. We need to restrict our speech before we become more authoritarian like China.
China is much more free than we are. Trust me, much more.
Right. But every time it's just another ridiculous excuse. Okay. Let's go over to, I also want to point this out. Here is the soldiers, one of the soldiers' family that was lost in the war.
Simmons' family is making a plea, calling on the United States to stop the war with Iran.
This could have been prevented. We didn't need to be in this war. You know, this is uncalled for. And this is what we get.
Families are suffering right now. Not only our family, but there are other families that's lost loved ones. And just to create a war because you want to create a war, it's not right. It is not right.
So I want to point out that the reason why Trump is auctioning off $40,000 purses at Mar-a-Lago, but the United States keeps a peasant class like this on purpose. This is obviously a rural, poor African-American family who just lost their son in Trump's war for fun. Even Arakchi says he's doing this for fun while he auctions off purses. There is another clip. I think we have it from Arakchi. Is this the one where he says the Americans and Iranians are suffering? Producer, nod or thumbs up, and I'll play it.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
President Trump said this weekend he is not ready to make a deal with Iran because the terms aren't good enough yet. His administration is saying this war could last another 3.5 weeks or so. Has Iran asked for a ceasefire?
No, we never asked for a ceasefire, and we have never asked even for negotiation. We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes. And this is what we have done so far, and we continue to do that until President Trump comes to the point that this is an illegal war with no victory, and there are people being killed only because President Trump wants to have fun. This is what he has said.
Have fun?
We are not. Yes, this is what he said, that they are sinking, ships and targeting different places because it is fun. And the Secretary of War has said that there is no mercy. And this is actually a war crime. Even saying that is a war crime. So this is a war. This is a war of choice by President Trump and the United States, and we are going to continue our self-defense.
Well,
right, exactly. War for no reason. Just want to do it for fun. It's fun to watch. I mean, I think we might. Do we have the clip of Trump saying? Oh yeah, here it is.
The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it? In fact, I got a little upset with our people. I said, what quality of ship? Excellent, sir. Top of the line. I said, why did we just capture the ship? We could have used it. Why did we sink them? They said, it's more fun to sink them. I said, that's a... They like sinking them better. They say it's safer to sink them. I guess it's probably true.
Yeah, we Iranians will humiliate you. You laugh now. Wait and see. Wait and see. I'm so excited. I want a global recession. I want a complete economic collapse. That's what I want. I want them to be punished. I want their 401ks to be gone. I want everything to be gone like that. You think you can? This is a joke? You think it's funny to kill innocent civilians? You think it's funny to unleash an unprovoked, a preemptive war on another country? Watch and see. Watch and see. We will humble you, just like we humbled Roman generals and emperors in front of Iranian greatness. I'm sorry. We didn't start this war. Iran didn't start this war. If America and Israel wanted, they will get it. They will get it. And we'll destroy everything else in the region as necessary. That we'll talk about it. But that, there are a lot of targets that haven't been targeted yet that could really destroy the world economy. I posted about one today. It's not only petroleum products that you might think, crude oil. It's also liquefied natural gas.
Helium.
It's also diesel, aviation fuels. Get ready. Get ready. You want to play games? We play games. No problem. If the Trump administration...
Before we talk about the very certain upcoming recession, let's give a little bit of an update from the Iraqi resistance. They have been pounding bases all over Iraq, in Erbil, Iraqi Kurdistan. But what we have from yesterday is they went after the American embassy as well as Victoria Base. We call it Victoria now because it was called Victory and there was no victory. So we call it Victoria now.
Victoria Base.
Victoria Base. So here's the embassy. Now, these are this is exclusive, obviously, but here's the embassy. As you can see, they took out the radar system. They also took out a CRAM. I'm hearing that the green zone has little to no air defense at all, and especially no real warning system. So that's pretty interesting. They're also freaking out. I was listening to the media today. They're freaking out saying, get out of Iraq, get out of Iraq as fast as you can. And it's like, you left them there. You could have, I went in and out of Iraq in August. You could have got them out up until 3 weeks ago, very easily.
Yeah.
Very easily. You're leaving them to die. And what happened yesterday, once again, well, here's the video of them targeting the embassy. I'll show you guys this first. Then they went and targeted Victory Air Base near Baghdad International. Now, guys, Baghdad International has an American section. They're not targeting the civilian parts of the airport, but here is this. This is kind of graphic, so just a little bit of a warning.
والله العظيم قاموا يبكون بكي. بس لا تقع جواب بالماي. دير بالكم شباب يا ولد. شنو غير بالقاعده غير قاموا يصرخون اسمع الصريخ مالهم.
Hearing that they hit they're calling it a logistics site, but first we got news was the PX. So the PX is what Yeah, the PX is where they hit. So they're saying logistics because that's where trucks and stuff deliver supplies, but the PX is also the shopping center / food court for the soldiers. So we were hearing that there were multiple casualties, but as you could hear in that video, you could hear them screaming.
Yep.
People are still at these bases. They're still getting hit. Yes, it is a U.S. base. It's Camp Victory at the Baghdad International Air. Yeah, exactly. The PX is technically we have the NEX in the Navy. It's technically a logistics center with a store on it. Yeah, exactly. And so they struck that. We were hearing that there were bodies scattered everywhere. We didn't see any proof of that. Hoping it's an exaggeration. Some people probably aren't hoping it's an exaggeration, but we have no proof of that. There are still people at those bases. Don't let anybody tell you that they're vacant. Those photos you saw were Americans up on the radar system.
Yeah.
Or contractors. So they left these people behind. They left them there to die or to fend for themselves. They're left with the task of finding their own way out of Iraq.
But is that surprising? I mean, is Netanyahu's son on the front lines? Is Trump's kids on the front lines? They like to LARP. That they're crusaders. They like to have, AR-15s that have the Jerusalem cross, and they're going to go and fight. They're not on the front lines. Go and fight an Iranian one-on-one. I want to see it. I look forward to it. That's how we should solve this. Send Donald Jr. over there to fight an Iranian.
Let's talk about the Yair Netanyahu is busy. He's meeting with Erica Kirk and hanging out in Miami. He's got things to do.
I know.
So let's talk about the impending doom, the impending collapse. Oh, here's your MLRS truck in Victory Base that was bombed.
Yep.
But it's coming. So let's look at all the little things. F1 has been officially canceled.
Yep.
In the Gulf. That's a huge hit. We have UAE COPE all over the place. They're freaking out. Here's your Dubai real estate market.
Wow.
Yes. And so here's Hegseth on the Strait of Hormuz.
The only thing prohibiting transit in the Straits right now is Iran shooting at shipping. It is open for transit should Iran not do that. Now, there's a reason why we chose as one of our primary objectives to destroy the Navy. We understood the ability to interdict shipping is something Iran has done for 40 years. It's key terrain. They've used it as leverage. The world is seeing what they'll do to fight back in that context. And so we've heard them talk about taking various measures, and we're planning for all of them. So we have a plan for every option here. We're working with our interagency partners, and that's not a strait we're going to allow to remain contested or with a lack of flow of commercial goods. So we're aware of that. We're laser focused on our military objectives, but also want to make sure our partners across this government understand we're working with you to make sure that energy flows, and that's an important part.
Azizam, come. We're laser focused on keeping the strait closed. So good luck.
The only thing that's stopping us from transiting the strait is Iran shooting at us.
I thought they just listen. You see how we just talked about earlier. We just talked about the complete bungling of the entire narrative. They just said, Trump, you saw a video, just said, we destroyed their Navy. Very fun. All those ships in this. So how are they still shooting at you if you destroyed the Navy? Because they haven't destroyed the Navy. They destroyed some bigger naval ships. True. But there are thousands of small craft that can still weave in and out and still knock out this ship, knock out that ship, destroy this tanker, destroy that tanker. Trust me, this is not easy. And the U.S. is now meeting its match because Iran's Navy doesn't need to have big aircraft carriers and big destroyers or cruisers. What it needs is small boats that are going to go out there with a couple guys with a couple missiles or drones or a couple pounds of TNT, and they're certainly going to show you what they're capable of.
I had something I wanted to say and now I forgot it. Was it about the $100? Oh, oil markets open in 13 minutes. So we will find out.
Here we go.
Our Department of Energy, the head of our Secretary of Energy, it believes Chris Wright. This is what he had to say.
Okay, well, the price of a barrel of oil closed above $103 on Friday, and the Iranians are warning of prices hitting $200
a barrel. Mr. Secretary, should Americans be bracing for, should they be worried that this war will actually drive the price of oil above $200 a barrel?
So Iran for 47 years has called the United States the Great Satan. So because they call us the Great Satan, I don't think we are the Great Satan. In fact, clearly we're not. So I don't listen much to Iranian projections of what's going to happen.
So that's a no?
There is disruptions
Is
of
that a
flow
no?
in a very important waterway. I would pay no attention to what Iran says, but there is a lot of energy that flows through the Straits of Hormuz. And depending upon the timing and the manner in which this conflict comes to an end, we're going to see some elevated pricing until we get there. Where it's going to go, we have done many, many actions to mitigate that price rise.
Iran calls us the Great Satan. We are not the Great Satan. We're the Epstein regime. We just, sexually abuse and ritualize the murder and cannibalize children and traffic women. But what Great Satan? We're not Great Satan. And now he said at the end, actually, yes, disruptions and prices will go up, but it remains to be seen about this. There's the truth. The truth after all your bullshit whining is that prices are going up.
Yeah. They keep telling us, they keep saying short-term pain for long-term gain. And they probably short-term pain us for at least the rest of the summer.
It's like a mantra. I feel like I'm in a Tibetan monastery. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme. Yes. Okay. Come on.
And Pete Hegseth mentioned, we're working with our partners to help them get across the strait. Here's Trump screaming, it's a team effort. We all have to work together. He has asked France, the UK, Japan, China, and I believe Italy for boats. They have all declined.
All declined. I don't think that's gonna. Wait a second. You see, this is like Schrodinger's American military. We're the best military in the world, top notch. Nobody can defeat us. We can destroy everybody simultaneously. Oh, please. We are struggling in Strait of Hormuz. Please, can you help us? China, UK, France, Italy. Can you send your boats? And they're all like, what? First of all, China's sitting on the sidelines. They're enjoying this. I guarantee you. She is hanging out in Beijing and saying, again, America overextended. Again, the hubris, right? And he's helping Iran for sure. Guaranteed they have strategic partnership. He's helping. Why not? Why wouldn't Beijing give Iran satellite information? It doesn't cost them anything. Absolutely. Hey, Tehran, this is where the location is. Send the missile. And then they sit back. Oh, I don't know anything. We're still in the nice phase of, New Year time. We're having a good time. There's no problem here. That's what's happening here. That's what's happening. Of course, China and Russia know what's going on. They are aware of it. Russia's benefiting from this. And also Russia is redirecting a lot of their supplies to their partners in Asia. Of course. They were prepared for this. Nobody's stupid over there. Unlike our administration in the US, the rest of them have PhDs and graduated very tough schools of diplomacy and political science and political philosophy. So I'm sorry, we don't have a bunch of drunk, apocalyptic, messianic evangelicals running those countries. Those countries are actually run by God-fearing men who did great work in academia. Putin's a lawyer. Xi Jinping went down to the people, very well educated as well. Tsinghua University, one of the toughest universities in China, top 2. So, please, it's crazy. It's crazy what we're seeing out there, really.
But I think that, let's talk about options for even off-ramping this. I just don't see it. We've already had, Arakchi today has said, we are not looking for a ceasefire. News just came out that said, there's no off-ramp available for Lebanon. Then, and even if there was one, I believe the damage has been done. Politico unveiled a poll today, but they took this poll in February. Now look, the responders who say it's better to depend on China or on the US. Look at those numbers.
Yeah. Those are crazy numbers.
This is before the war. This is crazy. Where do we even go from here? So what I saw somebody post today. Oh, Rokana went on one of the Sunday shows and said, I just hope that Trump declares victory and just stops. And I know that he meant we obviously didn't win, but just say you won and just end it? What do you think the options are even at this point? And you can't even look at it from an Iranian angle because they said there's none. What can the United States do?
Listen, the United States can simply say, okay, we killed the supreme leader. We bombed 11,000. We sent how many bombs with Israel? 11,000 bombing camp. Different bombs, sites, targets that were destroyed. Okay, it's the end, and everything will go back to normal. But Iran won't do that. Iran has set 2 conditions. The first one, reparations, compensation for war damages, which is allowed under international law, because this was a preemptive, unauthorized, illegal war of aggression against a sovereign member state of the United Nations. Therefore, a violation of the UN Charter. It wants reparations. Number 2, what does Iran want? Iran wants the US to no longer be present militarily in the Gulf. So that's huge. And Iran has all of the cards. I'm sorry to say. And that's really where we're at now. We are at a moment where the US and Israel are facing down the possibility of an enlarged, escalated military conflict that might include troops, boots on the ground, and troops actually being deployed to areas to occupy Iranian territory. We see there, the Marines are en route, right? And then you have, on the other side, the US and Israel could...
Why do I have balloons?
I don't know. The balloon, maybe the 99, what was it? The 99 red balloons. What was it? But I think that you have the Americans who can either find a solution to get out, but they're going to lose face, or they can try to declare victory and everyone knows that it's fake. But the Iranians won't give up. At this point, the cat's out of the bag. Not to mention, you have to now think, this is not only confined to Iran, Iraq and Iraq's demand for US to withdraw, and Iraq's forces are actively fighting the US. Lebanon, we have a ground invasion of Lebanon by Israel. You have Israeli officials saying that they want to take everything south of the Litani, that the Litani is now the border of northern Israel. Some of them are saying this is their God-given right to extend greater Israel. So we're seeing a lot here. And Yemen said what? Yemen is ready. They're waiting for orders. So this is actually, I don't necessarily see an off-ramp at this point. I only see escalation. And that's a problem. It could also be the case that the US tries to de-escalate and Israel escalates to keep the US in the game. Because for Israel now, this is existential. This is not only a war for political purposes. This has deeply religious purposes for them as well. They keep on talking about Messiah's coming back, right? The Messiah is coming. So this for them is very important. And I can't see them letting up this easily.
We're also receiving reports that, well, firstly, let's go further into this economic turndown. So while all of this is going on, we do have the Marines coming in. Kushner came over to the Gulf to ask for another $5 billion. Arakshi called him out. I've been told that family of a U.S. soldier killed in the war. Yeah, this is it. Is relying on public donations. As fair and equitable deal was within reach. Those providing poor advice to POTUS are responsible for the bloodshed. This war is imposed on both Americans and Iranians. And Jared Kushner, aka Ivanka's twink, is over there with his purse open, begging for another $5 billion. They also have another $10 million reward. The United States is offering a 10. So we got money for that.
Of course we have money for that. We also, always have money for that.
Iran is also putting out evacuation notices for certain sectors. So yesterday they put out tech. We announced it on a space, I believe it was Google, Microsoft, Oracle, Amazon, and on and on and on, and Adobe. And I said, please don't bomb Adobe, but everything else you can bomb. But they were bombing the tech sector. Today they told the banks, you better evacuate the banks. And they named off a whole bunch of banks, even like Goldman Sachs and everything. So they're going after all of it. Also, they released these today. They are Doha. This is Doha evacuation. So these are heavily commercial / residential areas, telling them to evacuate. And here is Dubai, the Dubai Marina.
Yep. There it is.
They are bombing all of the economic generators, all of them.
Listen, I spoke to some friends in finance, and they're saying people are fleeing Dubai in droves. People are not coming back. Everyone, all the finance bros that live there are saying Dubai's dead. I never want to go back. I don't want to deal with this again. Like I expected a place that was nice. So the economic fallout from this is going to be enormous and decades long. It's going to be long lasting, decades long, basically at this point. This is not going to end. Okay, they ended tomorrow. The repercussions are very, very long. This is a long durée type of situation. This is just a transformational moment in the region. I hope everybody understands this. The region will not look the same after this is over. And I don't necessarily mean borders. I mean in terms of the political makeup and how this... And if Iran, which I believe it will, Iran will withstand this. If Iran at the end comes out with the victory that I believe it will have, get ready for Iran to invest heavily in air defense, in different types, and possibly, I mean, this is the big fear. Iran now must understand the DPRK model. And by the way, Francis Fukuyama, he posted that article about the DPRK. He wasn't lauding and praising Juche or Songun ideology, but he was saying that the DPRK's gamble at the worst moments of its history because of the collapse of the Soviet Union, to get a nuclear weapon, to push everything, the entire society, to drive the entire society towards a nuclear weapon, has allowed it to safeguard its society, its polity. He, of course, doesn't agree with that, obviously, but he says that's the realist position. One has to wonder now if Mojtaba Khamenei, the new Ayatollah and supreme leader of Iran, if he would also, for example, abrogate the fatwa of his father and say, we got to pursue it. I mean, Pakistan has it. India has it. Why not Iran? So I think that they've made the world much less safe in this regard. And somebody's asking in the chat about Samson option. Thanks to the great reporting of Seymour Hersh and others, and the bravery of Mordechai Vanunu and so many others who told the truth about the Israeli nuclear program, we also have to realize these people are nutcases running Israeli government, right? And if they believe that they're on the losing end of this situation, could they resort to the Samson option? Could they use, for example, there's been talk now being floated around about the use of tactical nuclear weapons, about operations to go get the enriched uranium from Iran. This could be very, very serious. I mean, we could see an escalation before we see de-escalation. And Israel is not a responsible state actor. They are a rogue state. Everybody should know that. Iran has been very responsible on the international scene, 3 times negotiating with the US. 3 times those negotiations have borne no fruit, and twice they've borne war. So we have to understand this. We also have to understand that, yes, there's still the sectarian issue, the Kurds. Although the Kurds have not done anything, I'm sure they're under tremendous pressure by the Iraqi Kurds not to move an inch. And also Turkey is watching this very closely. Azerbaijan is watching this very closely. Everyone has to understand this. Everyone.
Speaking of other states, how about I don't remember who announced it, but they did announce that Ukraine is now a viable target.
Yes, that's right. Ibrahim Azizi. He mentioned, and he got on Miro Dvorets along with me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome, Tim.
Yes, I welcomed him to Miro Dvorets. Thank you. But my thing here is that Ukraine is also now a target. Could that mean, I mean, I was thinking last night, I was wondering here, I was like, I wonder if after this is over, Iran will help Russia in the special military operation now. They could. Why not? Maybe send a force, 100, 200 guys. Quds Force, who knows? So this is all, this is opening whole new areas that we didn't necessarily know were on the table. Iran now says Ukraine's a legitimate target. Ukraine now labels the IRGC a terrorist organization and Iran as a terror state. So there's a lot happening here, a lot.
I don't know if they've had it yet, but I know Benjamin Netanyahu and Zelensky are working on a phone call. I don't think they've had it yet, but they're scheduling one now.
I'm sure.
And as our viewers also pointed out, I wanted to ask you anyway, there is a high amount of activity around Taiwan, China surrounding Taiwan. We also know that the PLA is live streaming the entire Iran war to their headquarters, where the soldiers are then made to sit down, watch, and study what's going on. It's pretty incredible. You won't see that from the United States military ever. I've never watched footage of anybody else's war. But so that's going on. People were asking in the chat, how confident are you in the fact that China's giving them targeting?
I mean, I don't have inside information, and if I did, I wouldn't reveal it. But I think that listen, China and Iran maintain strategic alliance, and that alliance also includes military domain. So it's very possible. It's very possible. I can't see why not. I can't see why there wouldn't be an opportunity to inflict damage without it coming back to you. I mean, why? You're not doing the fighting.
Oil markets have opened at 97.20.
Wow, here we go. Get ready, everybody. Buckle in.
Yeah, so we'll be watching that closely today. But in the meantime, while all of this is also going on, MAGA is imploding. They're calling the CIA on each other. So we have I'm not sure how much I believe this or not, but we'll see. Tucker is saying that Laura Loomer is calling the CIA on him. His dad's passed away, sadly, but can't he just call one of his dad's friends and say, I'm not, like, get the CIA off my back? Anyway, here's Tucker.
The CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power. And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power. Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, and have never acted against it. Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have a lot of kids. So that's not a concern. I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't need it, don't want it, and that's provable. And moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living, and I'm not going to stop doing that, nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case is ludicrous, and I doubt it will even become a case. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is that countries tend to become more authoritarian in wartime. It's just the nature of war. People are dying. The stakes are high. People's emotions have risen to a very high point, to a crescendo. And so there's much less tolerance for any kind of dissent in the homeland. The irony, of course, is the United States fights wars on behalf of freedom, but there's always less of it here in our country during war. So that's a widely recognized phenomenon, and it's likely to happen now, too.
Someone in the chat said CIA versus CIA. That's why I don't really know what to make of this, although I do kind of take notes on what Tucker and company are talking about. So I just think that it's a more of a sign that more censorship is to come, I guess. I don't know. What do you make of this sort of this feud?
Listen, I think I don't know the intricacies, but I do know that Tucker has been a voice of that's more rational and more reasonable. I mean, the fact that he spoke to Iranians, you don't see Laura Loomer speaking to.
No.
So for me, that's important. Whether he's part of the state or not part of the state, I don't have that information. Of course, we know about his family history. We know about his history. But I honestly believe people can change. I really do. I believe people can change. I don't believe Jeffrey Epstein ever changed. But I believe that some people can change, of course. I mean, there are people in the military who are now against war. There are people who have been in the CIA who are now speaking out against the CIA's crimes. That's a reality. Whether they do it for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, I can't tell you. I can't judge. I don't know. But what I can say is that he's been on the right side of history now on a lot of these issues. And Laura Loomer and the rest of the gang has been on the wrong side continuously, time after time. You know, so that's what I think. And of course, if we agree on an issue, why not? It's good. I wouldn't mind sitting down with him and talking to him. Would I ever sit down and talk with Laura Loomer? Probably not, because she's going to end up saying you're, some
terrorist.
I'm a terrorist. I'm, a turban wearing, who knows what. But no, so I think that it's important to have these people. There's a lot of, listen, there's a lot of people who are waking up in the US. It's going to be uneven. It's going to be messy. It's going to be not so easy. I'm the byproduct of a family, an education, an experience around the whole world, war, everything has produced me. So imagine, and the same for you. So imagine now you have people who are just waking up. It's going to be hard, and they're not going to be right on everything. But I think that we should give the credit that some people are having at least some good takes, and to criticize them when it's necessary, right?
I agree. And I use these people as tools. That's why I used the Carrie Prejean Bowler interview the other day. And I also, we did the nuance thing and talked about our background, and we were honest about that. But I shouldn't say never, that's too extreme, but I usually don't dismiss somebody because of their background. I usually take in what they say first, and then I look into it and I say, okay, well, let's keep this in mind as we move forward. As long as we're using them as stepping stones, right? And like, it's good to get his audience's interest peaked in these topics, and then we can pull them even further into them. The only thing that I worry about is that he has such a large audience of people that are just fixated on sort of him and maybe like a few others, that's the end of that's where it ends. That's where the insight into it sort of ends. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's the only thing that's my only pushback against Tucker. But other than that, I think that these people are useful tools because they're so mainstream and because they have very large, even Candace. I don't watch Candace, but you bet your ass I'll use her. When she shared us the other night, I was like, hell yeah. I'm not going to say no, thank you, Candace. So
I agree with some of her takes. Some of her takes are not correct. Listen, were there people killed during the Bolshevik Revolution? Yes. Was the church oppressed? But were 100 million killed? Were 60 million killed? 40 million killed? No. Ask any Russian. Ask any Russian. It's not true.
100 million.
No, it's crazy numbers. Please, everybody. Yes, there was repression. Absolutely. People were killed. Priests were killed. Monks were killed. Bishops were killed. Sure, believers were killed. But it was not those numbers. And they use it as a kind of narrative spin. I just want people to be a little bit more rational and realistic about some of this stuff.
But exactly that. I don't think that they're doing God's work, but they're definitely helping to be pushing the discourse much further than it could have ever been pushed by people trying to do it just organically. So I appreciate them for what they do. But I don't usually dismiss them just based on their past. Regardless, I think I'm going to let you go, Chris, because you're starting to look a little haggard. This guy is a Russian shill.
It's late here. What can I do?
Tucker has accounts in Rubbles. What's a Rubble? Like Barney Rubble? Like the Flintstones? Who's a Russian shill? Chris a Russian shill? Because Chris,
this guy is a Russian shill.
Chris definitely has rubles. Chris definitely has rubles as he lives in Moscow.
Dinakano. That's it.
Let's see our super chat.
This is Greek, so tinapo.
Good. Take care. All right. He's took your advice and took my kids out for ice cream. Take them out again. Thank you very much for your support. China. No, Taiwan is China, so let them do whatever they want. Food shortages. Yep. The fertilizer is going to hit hard. Talked about that. Thank you again for your support, Mickey, as always. I say this every week. She says Mag is now 4 Jewish lunatics and a drunk. I just say, why are we being ran by maniacal gays and Jews? But it's all the same. I mean, sign up and pay to be a national. No, thank you. I will not be signing up to and paying to do anything for this government. No, thank you. But thank you for your support regardless.
What you should sign up for is my YouTube channel, which is a branch of our DD Geopolitics. So go there, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff.
It's not all, you still don't have a banner. I'd put it up there. Go follow. Well, here's Chris's. Follow Chris on X. Also, go to the store, buy merchandise. A lot of people bought merch this week. Thank you so much. We're going to use it to pay for Eid in Yemen and any other places that need help. I always pay for Eid in Yemen during Ramadan. We're going to leave you with this outro from the Badass Iraqis, our friends. Take a look. This is some ear dentist trolling. But other than that, we will see you in the spaces. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Chris, don't do anything crazy. We have another show on Wednesday.
I'll try not to. Wednesday, I hope to be there, but who knows? I could be elsewhere.
I know. Probably surprise us that day. Anyway, guys, have a good night, and we will see you soon. Enjoy this Iraqi trolling. Well, maybe it's not trolling. Who knows?
See you soon, everybody. God bless.
God bless.
استمرت الحرب وهذه الدول ضمن هذا المشهد وأصبح الصراع كسر عظم به. راح يختفي الكويت كدولة وقطر والبحرين والإمارات، وقد تكون يعني هذه الدولة ذات هويات أخرى جديدة.
شلون تختفي يعني الكويت؟ يعني من يبتلعها؟ الكويت من يبتلعها؟
أضرب لك مثل هسه البحرين عندها جسر 27 كيلو، القوات السعودية حاطيها هناك من يصير تهديد تجي.
زين.
الطب يسموها درع الخليج. إذا انضرب هذا الجسر درع الخليج شو وصله؟ واكو اغلبيه شيعيه عندها مشاكل مع الحكم، وزوارق صواريخ ايرانيه متاهبه المسافه 200 كيلو توصل بثلاث ساعات او ساعتين ونص. تدعم هذا الموقف. شو بقي من دوله مساحتها 760 كيلومتر بس، يعني مساحتها مو
هسه هذا البحرين اوكي، الكويت من يهددها؟
نرجعها لايران. البحرين هي كانت لايران تروح لايران، الكويت تروح للعراق، الامارات ترجع لعمان، ترجع لاصولها.
صحيح.
هذا احد الخيارات المطروحه.
السعوديه يجوز تاخذ قطر ايضا.
هشو
والله.
شويه حمد هذا كلام مهم. احمد ولو اطلت عليكم صدق. شنو الكويت؟ من ياخذها؟ انت تاخذ الكويت؟
الكويت مو دوله
يعني ترجع
الكويت مو دوله ولا قطر دوله. يعني قطر جزيره بها ممر واحد يروح على السعوديه. وهذا الممر ممر اسمه ممر سلوى. عرضه 30-40 متر يعني. يعني 4 جنود يخنقوها. شنو هاي من دوله يعني؟ البحرين 760 كيلو، عباره عن يعني شلون اقيس لك اياها؟ عباره عن ناحيه تابعه للفهود. يعني
الشوملي بقد الشوملي؟
لا هوايه الشوملي اكبر منها كثير يعني. بس انت من توقف بطرفها شوف نهايتها يعني مشي تروح تقدر.
الامارات من ياخذها؟
الامارات يعني مثل ما تفضل عمان كدوله تاريخيا هي كانت جزء منها. تدري انت هسه بالامارات داخل الامارات هسه اكو منطقه تابعه الى عمان. هاي ما لها سلطه الامارات عليها. داخل في وسط
الامارات؟
في وسط الامارات تابعه لابو ظبي. منطقه تابعه لعمان.
تاخذ الكويت سيد كامل؟
انت تدري اكو لعبات كره قدم هاي الدول تجيب ذول المقيمين يدعمون فريقهم، تعطيهم كل واحد $50 على مود يجون يشجعون الفريق لين ما عندها شعب. يعني تصورك عن دول الخليج ترى
يعني 10 مليون
الاعلاميه والماليه ترى بالواقع ماكو شيء.
ترى 10 مليون اجنبي و750,000 اماراتي.